Greetings, my fellow directors. We meet again. This time to talk about Scarlett and Baili Tusu, who are coming up on Ash Echo's next update. Our goal here is to see whether these characters are good or trash, and should you bother pulling for them. The answer might surprise you. It definitely surprised me. So let's go ahead and take a look at Scarlett first. We've got her page here on Pridwen opened up. You should definitely check them out. They've got all the information you need, and I am just making it more digestible for you. Scarlett's a 6-star wind element skirmisher. We love to see it. The wind element's a little difficult. It can push enemies and dispel poison fog, but it does not have any elemental reactions, which is unfortunate. I think it would be better if it could spread elements, but it is what it is. Okay, so let's take a look at Scarlett's skills. She's got 2 active skills, and for Heaven Piercer, she's going to charge up and fire a penetrating shot. She deals damage. It has bonus effects in arrest mode here. I want you to take a look at something very important, because what the skill does isn't important, because it's a forward shot. It's going to remove airborne. She can attack airborne units, by the way. She's a gunner, so that's good. But what we want to look at right here are her modifiers here. Well, this one, really. Arrest mode adds, but here it's 1200, 4000. For her seed skill, it's 2700, and that's just at base. If you go all the way up, it's fucking ungodly. Now, for her second skill, Relentless Pursuit, she can almost sort of tank using this skill because her damage reduction is increased by 90. Oh yeah, she takes 90% reduced damage. Okay, that's fine, I guess. Like, if you're just down to Scarlett and you need to burst down a boss real quick, you could do it. Personally, I don't see a point in running her that way. She's more of a straightforward DPS. But this is a lock-on skill, so you just pick your target and go, and it does reduce their movement speed by 90%, so you can lock a target down that way. And then we have the Seed skill, which activates her alternate mode. That's going to be the theme for this patch, it seems, because both Scarlett and Baili both have alternate modes activated by their Seed skill. Personally, I think Baili's is better, although I think Scarlett's the better character. So your first cast is half off, so you get 30 seconds on that one. I would not use that immediately because it also only lasts for 30 seconds, but all of her stats are increased. Well, her attacks or basic attacks are increased during that period, and her basic skill, basic attack just does whatever. Anyway, okay, so let's look at her leader skills real quick. These are the important ones because right now Scarlett's looking like essentially a beat stick. Like, she'll be good for, pushing enemies back, removing fog. She can take out airborne units, whatever, okay? But do you want her as your leader? Okay, so she increases extra damage by 10%, 17.5, and 25%. Double in a wet environment. You can never really predict that unless you're doing a map you've done 1,000 times. Obviously, it doesn't stack. Okay, this skill over here, Rampaging Tempest, casting a seed skill increases wind damage of all allied Echomancers. Great, fine. Okay, that's pretty basic though. So personally, I don't see Scarlett being a very good leader. Like I said, she's more of a wind beat stick, basically. However, let's go ahead and take a look at what memories you can use with her real quick. Okay, so first up we have Blood Ruvia Secret. This is an SSR, so I don't know how many people would have that at this point if you're not, spending a lot of money, but this is a good one because dealing wind damage will apply wind weakness for 20 seconds, reducing the target's wind resistance, yada, yada, yada. Okay, now do you remember how Scarlett's modifiers are absolutely absurd? So if you start stripping enemies wind resistance with this memory trace, and then you hit them with that 3,000% damage, what do you think's going to happen? They're going to explode. So this is a great memory trace, and it's an SSR. However, in a moment, I will tell you how you can get this effect without this. Okay, so then we have her banner trace. This is going to be her best in slot, basically. It is an attack. It's also an SSR. We're still going to be getting the limited traces, the limited backflashes during this banner. So you should just blow them on this. And this is when there are 2 or more wind echomancers on the field, apply Inspire. So basically, it's just an Inspire source, which is always good. However, now let's get back to Blood Ruvia Secret, okay? Now, I told you there's another way to do this, okay? Bear with me for a moment. Enter Miss Azusa. This is a 5-star Echomancer that is already in the game. If you've been pulling for Sen Ying, like you should have, you'll already have her, most likely. But why do I bring her up? Well, if we go down here, her skills are whatever. She does wind damage. She's a DPS, right? Yeah, she's a DPS. All right, so her leader skills, because we don't want Scarlett as a leader, so someone needs to be a leader of this team. So we have her first skill, which increases extra damage. Okay, cool, great, fantastic. Her second skill is literally just Blood Ruvia secret. So you just make Azusa your leader, strip Windrez, and blow everything up with Scarlett. Easy. So overall, I think that Scarlett's definitely a good DPS. She if you pair her with Azusa or that memory trace, if you wanted a different leader and were spending tons of cash or just got lucky, you could definitely use her to blast bosses to pieces. Otherwise, you're basically just going to use her as a beat stick. Personally, I don't see myself using her that much, but I am going all in on Summoner, so that's a given anyways. But maybe you're not. You know, maybe you think you got an idea of how you're going to play this game, and that's fine. That's fine. But that's just Scarlett laid out, so let's go and look at the other guy. Okay, for all my guy enjoyers here, we have Mr. Baili Tusu. If I am not pronouncing that correctly, and you know how to pronounce that, please let me know, because I thought his name might have been changed, but in the Chinese wiki, it's literally the same, so if I'm pronouncing that incorrectly, please let me know down in the comments. I would rather pronounce it correctly. Okay, he's a 6-star striker, fire element. We all love him. Well, we don't love him. So initially, I thought, why would you use this guy over Cyros, right? And I don't think you would, but we're going to take a look at his skills real quick. So the thing about Baili is that he depletes his HP for the vast majority of his kit, which isn't great. And when I read that, I thought, why the hell would I use this guy? But he also gains a shield, equating to 50% of his max HP or 25% of his max HP. Plus, he gets stacks of fire and stone, which I think increases something or other. It increases, oh yeah, there it is. It increases attack and damage rating. Okay, but here's the thing. Here's the thing about him that I think might make him worth looking into. It's because all of his attacks are modified by a large percent multiplier of his vitality. So he has lower multipliers than Scarlett, but because they all scale with his vitality, if you have an engraving with a seriously high vitality score, you could be doing some serious damage with him, especially because they go up to like 1000%. Like that's 1000% fire damage, or that's 1000% final attack plus 1000% vitality. That's actually kind of insane. And this one's an AoE, I think. So now let's go into his unique mechanic, because as I said previously, both Scarlett and Baili have this mode change. So you'll see, you know, a lot of this rekindled. So as with Scarlett, his ultimate's going to go ahead and trigger that, because it can only be used outside of rekindled. So his seed skill is going to trigger rekindled, and it's going to recall his dream self. Let's talk about the dream self for a second, because that counts as a summon down here. And in a lot of his skills, it's going to be doing its own attack. So not only are you getting Baili, but you're also getting a summon, which means you can use him in the same team as like Sen Ying and benefit from Beneath the Deception. Or you can use him with Luke, with Tong, any other summoner really. And he's going to benefit from all of those same things that will boost their summons. That's going to be like coordinated summon and everything like that. So that's one thing to consider. But I think just the modifiers he gets from Vitality is going to be absolutely insane. Not to mention Fire and Stone is just great. And this is Scarlett. I think you can play at, no dupes, like 0 duplicates. However, Baili, I definitely think you at least want one. I think you definitely want to get one dupe, because that way the first time you use Rekindled, you're going to get another 15 stacks of Fire and Stone. And that's just going to be better overall. Let's check out his leader skills real quick. Okay, so after Echomancers receive healing. Okay, so here's the thing. Obviously, since he uses his HP for pretty much everything, even though he gets a shield, you're going to want a healer on deck. You're going to want Longqing, Freyda. You could technically use Tanruo, but you're going to want something like that. And I think if you were going to run Baili, you would want him as the leader, because his skills are after after an Echomancer receives healing, their healing received within 5 seconds is increased by 30, 45, 60%. That's just great, because you're going to need to do a lot of healing anyways. Might as well buff it. And then for every 10% of max HP lost in battle, it increases extra damage, stacking up 10 times. Now, you're going to be shredding your own HP by using Baili in the first place. So if you use him as your leader, you're just going to get extra benefits. Now, personally, I do not see myself even rolling for him. I'm sure there will be some silly stuff you can do in the future with him, but I just don't see him having more value for me over Scarlett, who I can at least use as a beat stick and wouldn't have to worry about as much. Because this guy, you're going to have to be babysitting his HP, and that's going to put more pressure on your tanks, or well, on your healers rather, on your any support really. And you know, it just doesn't seem worth it for me. But if you're running a fire team, this is an absurd amount of damage, and I would really run him as the leader, basically. I think it traces for him. I don't think you have to get really specific. You pretty much just want to use fire stuff. Anything that's going to boost your fire, anything that's going to boost your vitality, you're probably going to want to go all in on behind the curtain, because you're already going to be boosting your vitality so much. You're going to be over the 750 that it requires to activate in the first place. May consider running Karma for its shield. Pretty much anything like that. Anyway, that's pretty much all I've got to say about these two characters. So I think Scarlett's better than Baili for most use cases. However, if you've already got Cyros, or you're just in love with the fire team, or you just think he looks cool, because Baili does look sick, I think he might be a good choice. But I think Scarlett for most people is just going to be better. And by most people, I mean me. But if you feel differently, let me know down in the comments. Do you plan on blowing your limited resonance clues on Scarlett or Baili? Let me know. Okay, well, as always, I've been Unlucklit, and I'll see you again next time, although I'm sure you wish I wouldn't.